first powered aircraft, which they called the Flyer. Thanks to that achievement, they soared into history as the inventors of the first successful airplane, earning the honor of being first in flight. But do they truly deserve this title? The answer is a bit more complicated than you might think. In fact, a number of inventors in the United States and Europe had launched crafts into flight before the Wrights in 1903. If others flew before them, why do the Wright brothers get all the credit for inventing the airplane? The answer depends on how you define the word airplane. To truly be an airplane, experts say, a flying craft must be heavier than air, and it must be manned and powered. It must also be able to take off and land under its own power. Finally, an airplane must be controllable along all three axes, known to pilots as roll, pitch, and yaw, in order to avoid crashing. This last feature marks the key contribution of the Wright brothers. Through their innovative wing warping design, they gave pilots three-axis controls, helping avoid the crashes that were so common among early aircrafts. Another reason for the Wrights' unique place in history is that, unlike some other early inventors, they continued to work on and improve their designs. Some say Gustav Whitehead may have beaten the Wrights to the punch by making a powered flight in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Whether this claim is true is still being debated, but what seems clear is that none of the flying machines Whitehead built after that date ever got off the ground. By contrast, the Wrights had continued success with their designs, and by 1908 they had developed a practical craft that would carry two people on longer flights. Through public demonstrations and teaching their skills to would-be flyers, the brothers enabled aviation to spread around the world. Even today, more than a century later, planes and pilots continue to use the same basic skills and control system developed by the famous brothers. So even though the Wright brothers weren't the first to leave the ground, they do deserve credit for making a controlled, sustained-powered flight in a craft that can rightfully be considered the world's first successful airplane.
They made history, but they couldn't make the front page. Len, we're going to be talking about the Wright brothers here today. So tell me what we have here on the table in front of us.
Well, the first item is truly a remarkable photograph. This is the first powered, sustained, and controlled flight.
And we can see that the plane is just in the act of getting off the ground.
Exactly. You've got Orville, who's the pilot, lying on his tummy, controlling the plane. You've got Wilbur running alongside. He's just actually let go of the wing.
And you can see it's just, there's nothing around. There's a bench and looks like just some random bric-a-brac lying around.
Exactly. And it's one of those photos, the more you look, the more you see.
Who actually took the photo?
Orville was the photographer in the family. So Orville set up his tripod at a certain spot and focused right on the end of the runway. And Daniels was one of the life-saving crew members. Orville told him, I've got the tripod set up here. Now, if you see the plane reach this point here, squeeze this bulb. They made their first flight, and they went back and asked Daniels, did you get it? He didn't have a clue. He said, I don't even know whether I squeezed it or not. He didn't know what he had did. He was just so excited and so taken
fortunately
with
for
it.
us, he did. One of the interesting things about their first flight is that they were actually very publicity conscious. That brings us to this telegram that we have here.
Well, now, this is the first telegram that was sent by the brothers announcing their success.
And just to be clear, this is the actual telegram.
And you can read it. It says right away.
Can I read it?
Yes, you may, yeah.
Success, 4 flights Thursday morning, all against 21-mile wind, started from level with engine power alone, average speed through air, 31 miles, longest 57 seconds, inform press, home Christmas, Orville Wright.
Orville Wright. Now the brothers knew they were going to fly, so they had arranged with their father and their brothers, Lauren and Rushlin, and a younger sister, Catherine. And Lauren was going to be their press agent. They had put together a little press kit before they left for Kitty Hawk in the fall, and said, once you receive this, take the telegram and this press kit and go to the Dayton Journal. The telegram was received, and then Catherine walked it over to Lauren's house and took the telegram to the Dayton Journal with his press kit and gave it to the fellow in charge. He looked at it, read it, gave it back to Lauren and said, 57 seconds. He said, come back when it's 57 minutes.
That's a guy with a nose for news.
Yeah.
He said the Wright brothers have achieved sustained flight.
Nah, not long enough.
Nah, there's a Rotary picnic. We're going to cover that instead.
Well, Yeah, that's the news for you. Len Bruno, Manuscript Specialist for Science and Technology, Library of Congress.